What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be reacting to the current UFC pound for pound list and explaining why it is a total piece of garbage. Okay, we're going to be fixing this whole list with a brand new, updated, evaluated one. Okay, the reason I want to make this video is because I'm sure we've all seen the waves on social media, all the viral clips of Dana White shredding both the pound for pound list to shreds and any reporter he can get his hands on, especially when it comes to his favorite fighter, Jon Jones. Okay, I'll be evaluating this list based on a few specific, measuring sticks, and I'm going to be explaining what the problem with the current list is, as well as addressing Dana White's recent comments. Okay, for what I think of the current list now, I think it's an abomination, it's a disaster, and it's a disgrace to humanity, okay? And I'm calling out none other than Dana White himself, because his recent comments on Jon Jones have been simply unbearable. I'm sure you've probably seen one clip or 5 clips or a dozen clips, but I'm just going to play a few clips that I think we all need to see, just so you can get an idea of how bad he is.
And Jon Jones says, I would fucking kill you. I'm not saying, but I would fucking kill you. Jon Jones has German Shepherd dogs and he shoots guns. Jon Jones has a very fucking dark side to him, right? And when you talk about who the baddest motherfucker in the world is, and Jon Jones says, beats the fuck out of people, right? And when you talk about truly, right now, in Islam, I love Islam and everything, the fact that Jon Jones is number 2 on the pound for pound list is fucking, it just goes to show how fucking stupid the media votes on that.
Yeah.
Then it just goes to show you that they have no fucking idea. They know nothing about this fucking sport. Jon Jones has never lost a fight, ever. Beats He's the fucking best ever, and he's the pound for pound best fighter in the world. And he's the pound for pound best fighter in the world.
Yeah. Well, except that he hasn't fought in the last year, so he's not.
Because he got hurt. He got injured.
But if you don't,
if you were coming into a fight and you fucking got hurt, that means you're not the pound for pound best fighter in the world anymore? How does that even make sense? It doesn't make sense.
When he fights,
right? If he was sitting out and fucking getting arrested and running around or whatever, and you're like, well, Jon Jones is inactive, I'd say, maybe you're right. But as an educated adult who knows the fight business, you cannot deny that while Jon Jones is active, he is the greatest fighter in the world. He's the fucking best ever. And he's
Ridiculous, okay? Totally ridiculous. Now, what the pound for pound list currently should be about is what you've done for me and for the fans right now. Who have you beaten? How have you beaten them? And what's been your recent streak as of now, okay? When we're going to have a look at the current pound for pound list, Dana's freaking out over Jon Jones being at number 1. I don't even think Jon Jones should be at number 3. He shouldn't even be on the list because he hasn't fought in 500 days. His last win, which was a great win, it was over Cyril Gane, who, in my opinion, he beat Francis, so he should have been the heavyweight champion. It's a legit win from Jon, but it was over 500 days ago, okay? He's fought once in 4 years. In comparison, Islam Makhachev, who should be the pound for pound number 1, who Dana thinks shouldn't, has fought 8 times in 4 years. He's won all of his fights and he's finished almost everyone he's fought in that stretch of time. At number 2, we've got Alex Pereira. Outside of one blunder against Izzy, I think that's a fair ranking. And we've got Topuria behind Jon for whatever reason, even though Topuria's been on, again, a crazy streak and he just beat Volkanovski, who was in the top 5 pound for pound recently before getting knocked out consecutively by Islam and Topuria. Belal at 6, which I think I've heard some people defend that placement. They think Belal at 6 makes sense. Belal Muhammad has had one of the most underwhelming winning streaks I've ever seen. He finished his last fight, a championship fight, getting elbowed to death in the 5th round, okay? He shouldn't even be on there. In comparison, Dricus behind him doesn't even make sense. Dricus has actually won the belt and defended it, which Belal hasn't done, so I don't know why Belal's above him. Same thing for Sean O'Malley. I do think Dricus should be over Sean. I think he's beaten better competition. A lot of people point to that Aljamain Sterling win of Sean O'Malley. I don't really count it as highly as people do. Not that I don't count it as if it's not a legit win, but Aljamain Sterling has essentially had a fluky run to the title. He's fought frauds like Henry Cejudo. He's padded his defense record. He did beat Jan, who, you can make an argument, one of the best bantamweights ever. But it was close, and he's 1-1 with him. That being said, I do think if he beats Marab, I think he should actually jump the list to number 4. I think he should be above Topuria, and he should be above Jon. I don't really understand why Jon, as I mentioned, is there, but we're just going to be beating a dead horse at that point. We've got Leon Edwards at number 8, okay? Leon Edwards can't fight. He shouldn't be in number 8. He's had dreadful performance after dreadful performance. He had a great win over Usman in 2022, who was, very overrated, but Usman was in the top 5 pound for pound. He was never better than Volk. But some people like to argue he was, and he was still a dominant champion. So Leon Edwards being above above number 10, Tom Aspinall, for me is ridiculous. Tom Aspinall has defended his interim title, which is essentially the real title because Jon Jones refuses to fight him and to legitimize it against any legit heavyweight except for Stipe, who's 42 years old and hasn't fought in about 3.5 years. That's right, 3.5 years. Aspinall is criminally underrated on this list, okay? The fact that he's at 10 below Edwards was essentially losing all of his fight against Usman except the first round in 2022. He came back and he did beat Usman, who was clearly not the same fighter at the start of 2023. It was a disgraceful performance. He cheated. He broke every rule in the unified books, pretty much, but he got away with it. Hometown bias, it is what it is. I'm not salty about that. I don't really care. And then he fought Colby, and it's like Colby is a guy he shouldn't have even been in title talks. Probably one of the worst defenses you could have. And it was a miserable performance. He just stunk it up, landed 2 more shots than Colby around, and again, ended the last round getting beaten up on the ground. So it's just, and then he lost. So he shouldn't even be in the top 10, okay? One of the most overrated fighters ever. Holloway at 11 also seems a little bit low. I don't really see how you can put Volk over Holloway given their recent track record. I do agree, obviously, all-time Volk is better than Max. He's beaten him 3 times. Volk's also on a 2-fight KO loss streak. So, Holloway's, it's a bit above him. And then I think that the worst placement of all is Alexandre Pantoja at number 12. I don't really watch his fights, okay? I'm not a big Pantoja fan. Love the guy. Sure he's a great dude. But he's actually had 2 title defenses. He should be, by that metric, above guys like O'Malley. He should be above Dricus. He should be above Belal. And he should be above Topuria. And obviously, Jon Jones, okay? Get him up there. Now, let's have a look at my list, which is the most accurate list. And it fixes a lot of the issues that the current UFC pound-for-pound list has. The actual list, okay? We've got Islam Makhachev at number 1. No, it is not debatable. No, it is not even... There's no argument you can make for anyone being above Islam. He's dominated amazing. He beat the 3rd greatest lightweight ever in Charles, destroyed him. He's defended his belt multiple times at this point against guys like Volk. And a lot of people like to slander Islam and they say he's only defended against featherweights. But that's not really a good argument because, for starters, we've just seen with Max Holloway, featherweights can move up to lightweight and have success. That was established way back in 2017 when Conor moved up and he beat up Eddie Alvarez, okay? They can move up and they can have, or 2016. They can move up and they can have success. It's not a problem, okay? And Islam, he has defended against a legit lightweight. He beat Charles, for starters. He won the title of Charles, who again is the third best lightweight ever. And he beat Dustin Poirier. Maybe not the most deserving shot, but that's been 2024 for you. Number 2, Alex Pereira, UFC double champ. One of the best fighters we've had in recent years. Extremely active. I don't think if he beats Khalil Roundtree, he should be above Islam. I don't even think it's close, because Islam hasn't lost in recent years, but, you know, Pereira got flatlined by Izzy. I do think, though, if, for example, if Topuria beats Max and Alex is beating guys like Khalil, I know Max is a better win, but Alex has done a lot more than Topuria has. So I do think the way to work, I do think Topuria is going to knock Max out. I think Topuria will go to number 2, but I think once Alex beats, or if Alex beats Khalil, depending on how that fight goes, especially if he does it dominantly like his last fight against Yuri, he's going to jump Topuria again, so he'll still be at number 2. Next, we've got Alexandre Pantoja. Just, I want to give him the respect he deserves. Flyweight sucks as a division, but he absolutely deserves that 4 placement. Number 5 is Dricus. Number 6 is O'Malley. And number 7 is Aspinall. Aspinall won't ever get to fight Jon Jones or Stipe or Biden, as he likes to put it. They're just not going to want to fight him. So he's going to have to fight whoever is the next contender at heavyweight. It's probably going to be the winner of Garn and Volkov. If he beats them, I'm going to put him above DDP. And I'm actually going to, I'd say he probably goes above Pantoja too. He's been, if he beats the winner of Garn and Volkov, the same way he's been beating everyone else, just dominating them, blitzkrieging them in the first round, he's just beating guys much more impressively than the rest of them are. So we're going to put him above the rest. I do think O'Malley will beat Merab. And I think if he beats Merab, he's going to jump above Dricus du Plessis. But I think as of right now, Dricus is very impressive. He has an underrated win streak, even his last 3 fights. I do think Izzy is overrated all time, and especially currently. But beating Strickland, and he did beat Strickland, no matter what people want to say, he did beat Strickland. And he also beat Robert Whittaker, who outside of Izzy has actually not lost to a middleweight. So it was a very impressive win. I think Dricus is a fantastic fighter. Bilal, anyway, Holloway at number 9. He had an amazing performance in Justin Gaethje, one of the best performances of his life. I don't think it was better than the Calvin Kattar one, but I also think Justin Gaethje is probably better than Calvin Kattar. Very impressive fight, very impressive knockout. Even if he didn't get that knockout, it still would have been one of the best performances we've seen. He got the 600k bonus. You know, it was a historical moment on a historical card. So you got to put him up there. And if he beats Topuria, Max Holloway is one of these guys where when you really consider his career, if Volk didn't exist, he would actually probably be a top 3 fighter, if not better than GSP. So it's worth, and I don't think he'd be better than Jon Jones, but if you don't want to count Jon Jones for the steroids, he'd be right up there at number 2. Just think about that, if Volkanovski didn't exist. But let's see how he goes against Topuria. I think he's getting spiked out cold. I'm going to be making a video about that, addressing some of the most delusional comments I've seen on Instagram of people who think Max is going to bulldoze Topuria, and I'm going to set the record straight. That is not going to happen. Topuria is going to flatline Max Holloway. Okay? The rest of the list, no one really cares about. You can just interchange them all. They're all on losing streaks. I've left 15 blank. You can put Dana White in there if you want. You can put Dana White or Hunter Campbell or any of these guys, because I don't really care, but no one really cares about being number 15 on the pound for pound list. But of right now, that's what I think at least the top 10 should be looking like. And I do think actually if Strickland beats Dricus, because I think that will be the next fight, I do think if he beats Dricus, Sean Strickland is going to move up a lot, okay? I think he's going to be over, obviously, Bilal, over Max Holloway. But if Max Holloway beats Ilya, he'll have the biggest jump in the pound for pound list, in my opinion. And Pantoja, stinky fights, but he has, accumulated a lot of wins recently. And he's got the most title defenses, except for... He's tied with title defenses with Alex Pereira, and he's below Islam. So, very impressive resume from Pantoja. So, yeah. That was the video, guys. Like and subscribe, and a new video will be coming soon. Peace.